All right, and now we are live. Welcome to Ask aois21 on the 21st. Sign up. Ask aois21 on the 21st for March 2018. Thank you all for joining us. We had to miss last month because I actually got really ill. I believe it was the flu and unable to make it on. Today we had to deal with a snowstorm walloping the DC area. The federal government was closed. The schools were closed. I was home all day taking care of my little kids. And luckily, we only lost power for a few seconds around noon, just long enough to reset all of our clocks. Not as bad as the windstorm we had a couple weeks ago that knocked out power for 4 days. But a busy day taking care of the kids and playing in the snow and having a snowball fight and all that fun times. So this is Ask aois21 on the 21st. If this is your first time watching, try to come on every month and be available to anyone who has any questions about books, podcasts, or video series. I am Keith F. Shovelin, publisher of aois21 Media. We're an independent media company based out of Mount Vernon, Virginia. Currently, we have 15 authors under our belt with almost 20 books available. We have just launched our 11th podcast series, and we have 5 video series going, including Ask aois21 the 21st, coming out monthly on the aois21 YouTube channel and video.aois21.com. So I come on every month and answer any questions anyone might have about writing, publishing, marketing books, as well as producing podcasts and producing video series. And just any questions you might have, any advice that I can give, I'm here to help you. You can send it on Periscope right on the screen, and I will do my best. In past, we've had a lot of good feedback on Periscope, but I haven't done a good job of reading the questions out on the video because I know people on Periscope could see the question, but we're also simulcasting on YouTube, and the people on YouTube can't see the question. So I will try to cover on both. Like we last did one of these back in January. We had a very lengthy discussion on adaptation and rights for book releases across foreign borders. This month, I want to talk a little bit about possibilities. So we're going to get into that in a minute. Just make sure you know how you can reach out to me. You can, on Periscope, just type it in the chat and pop up on the screen. We also have the chat function on YouTube. If you're watching this direct on the link on Facebook, then you will be able to respond to me either by clicking on YouTube, or you can go on Twitter and tweet at aois21, that's aois21, or just use the hashtag AskAois21, and I'll see it, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have. And make sure this is fully broadcast. Yeah. Okay, that's shared on Twitter and Facebook. Obviously, it does share on Twitter as soon as we go live, but this way we make sure that we're covered on all of it. Yep. And of course, after this is done tonight, this video will be posted to the aois21 YouTube channel, as well as to aois21's webpage. That's video.aois21.com, along with past months where we've had numerous discussions on podcasting, marketing books, getting on, dealing with bestseller lists, dealing with book fairs, and all kinds of different advice I try to give, whether it be stuff that people have written in about or just specific topics I want to try to cover in a month. Like this month, I want to talk about possibilities. The reason I'm talk about possibilities is because on April 7th, in just 3 short weeks, yeah, that sounds right, there will be a book conference here in the DC area in Falls Church, Virginia, called the Possibilities Conference. It's the first time that this conference is up and running. It's hosted by the Possibilities Publishing Company based out of Burke, Virginia. It's a good friend of ours, as well as Social Media Rescue. And they will be putting on a full day of events. Now, unlike some book fairs, this is a paid event for you to take part, but it starts at 9 a.m. with pancakes with publishers, and it'll be me from aois21 and Meredith Masich of Possibilities Publishing. Come on out, have some pancakes, and we just talk shop on publishing. There'll also be a couple panels throughout the day I'll be taking part in, and then we'll be exhibiting all day long. There'll be different events. There'll be some live podcast recording. I believe the Right On podcast will be recording there, as well as we're going to try to do a recording of the Publish Me podcast there. Then it ends with a hold on, make sure I got the name of all these events correct, because I want to make sure sharing it properly. And of course, the possibilitiesconference.com is the website. And that's April 7th from 9 till 5 p.m. at the Clark House on 6332 Barcraft Muse Drive, Falls Church, Virginia. Your transformation begins. Doors open at 9:15. Pancakes with publishers at 9:30. From 10:15 to 12:45, workshops on topics such as have fun with your fear of marketing, building your author brand, organizing and motivating your book launch team, plus one-on-one meetings about branding, social media, and publishing. There's a provided lunch from 1 to 2. From 2 to 5, it's the Possibilities Conference Media Lounge, where you'll be able to get headshots taken, an author video for your media kit, and all of that's provided free as part of you paying your ticket for the conference. From 2 to 6, the workshops are What Publishers Want. I believe I'll be taking part in that one. Improv for Introverts, How to Give Good Interview, Successful Self-Publishing, plus more one-on-one meetings about branding, social media, and publishing. Then from 6 to 7, the Book Nerd Society presents Sip and Swap. You bring a copy of your book or someone else's and swap with other writers while sipping wine and networking. By receiving a book, you pinky swear promise to write the author an Amazon review if you enjoy it. So that's going on Saturday, April 7th here in the DC area. And this is where we're now at the beginning of book fair season here in DC area, DC, Virginia, Maryland. It kind of goes through the beginning of summer, takes a break for a couple months, then comes back in the fall. So whereas this Saturday is the Festival of the Book down in Charlottesville, that's an annual event where they take over the Omni Hotel in downtown Charlottesville. They set up exhibitors, whether it be authors or publishers, in the lobby of the hotel, but then they have guest speakers and panels and workshops, and it's an incredible conference that's pretty expansive. If you can, I highly suggest you take part. We're passing on it because we just have so much going on that we are really choosy about which book fairs we go to. Then April 7th, it's the Possibilities Conference. 2 weeks after that, on April 21st, is DC Author Fest. It's back this year after taking off a year, and this year it'll be in the spring. Usually it's in the fall. The reason being that DC Author Fest is run by DC Public Library, and regularly it would be held in the main lobby of the MLK Library, the main library branch of DC Public Library, but that building is currently closed for renovation. So they needed to find a new location, and that necessitated a delay till the springtime. And that the new location is the James Madison Memorial Building of the Library of Congress on Capitol Hill. So that will be Saturday, April 21st. It's going to be a lot of DC-based authors as well as literary organizations taking part. Not sure if we're taking part yet, but we're hoping, fingers crossed, on that one. Then the next day, April 22nd, is the International Day of the Book Festival in Kensington, Maryland. Kensington is this lovely little town just north of DC. They have this their main street is basically a row of great antique shops and other wonderful little mom and pop stores, and on the opposite side is the train tracks. So how many books are there? There are millions and millions of books every year, 800,000 new books have been written for the past 5 years. The Library of Congress alone, which is the largest library in the world, has 38 million books. So there's a fair amount of books out there. Uh, so yeah, the Kensington, they shut down the main street, and you just have on either side, you have authors, you have book publishers, you have different companies that work with authors, and you have tents with performances, you have poetry, you have music, all kinds of things going on. So if you're in the DC area, I highly recommend going out to Kensington. Then in May, on May 21st, so exactly 2 months from today, we have the Gaithersburg Book Festival, which is what the large book festival here in the DC area, up in Gaithersburg, Maryland. They take over the City Hall grounds, and it's just a series of tents with authors speaking all day, exhibitors from all across the country. You have a whole children's section, and it's just a really great day. And if the weather is good, it'll be absolutely beautiful. The weather hasn't been so good the past couple years, but it's still been a great day. And then the springtime events kind of wrap up with, we have Virginia Comic-Con is holding their first Comic-Con in Northern Virginia this year at the George Mason University campus in Fairfax, Virginia on the June 9th and 10th. So that will wrap up the springtime book events, although Comic-Con really isn't traditionally a book event, but it has a lot of comic books, and we'll be there as we can't miss out on Comic-Con when it comes up north. And then in the fall, the book events start up again. You got the Fall for the Book at George Mason University on October 13th. You have the week before, you've got the Western Maryland Independent Literature Festival at Frostburg State University in Frostburg, Maryland. And then we're also going to have Charlottesville Book Festival. They was a new event last year, hosted by our friend Carolyn O'Neill and the Blue Ridge chapter of the Virginia Writers Club. They will be coming back again, and this year we're going to help by co-sponsoring the event, try to help really get more people to come out. It was a great time, but for a first-time event, there were a few hiccups, so they're going to try to be bigger and better this year, more people coming in, more things going on. They had live music and a bunch of exhibitors and free food, so more of the same, plus some more live events and things going on for authors and readers as well. So it all kind of kicks off this weekend for the Festival of the Book down in Charlottesville. But right here in the DC area, Falls Church on April 7th is the Possibilities Conference. And I'm really looking forward to this event. This is the first time it's been done. Hopefully it will become an annual event like so many of the others I just listed. And it's just going to be an interesting, immersive day of events for authors and publishers alike. Now, there are others, like there's the Washington Writers Conference, where it's basically just for writers to meet with literary agents. And there's the Baltimore Book Festival, which is a 2-day festival in the Inner Harbor, and you have people coming from across the country to take part in that book festival. I haven't actually gone to that one yet, but I've heard it's excellent. And then there's others throughout the calendar year, and some that don't really fit with what we try to do as a company, but and others that would be nice to go to, but cost of admission's a little high. But you take part in what events you can. And if you're an author or would-be author, the free events are great, but like if you're going to Kensington or you're going to Gaithersburg, you're going to see a lot of other authors. You're going to see some publishers. You're going to see a lot of people trying to sell you things. If you come to the Possibilities Conference on April 7th, you'll get a chance to talk to people that are creators, are people that will help you and are there to give you advice. So it's sort of it's a different kind of experience than your traditional book fair. I mean, it's an all-inclusive day. It's a ticket you pay to get in. They've been done a couple of free tickets here and there, but the length and breadth of the opportunities they have, you're not going to go there and find, okay, well, here is this author talking about his or her book, or here is this author reading from her or his book. It's going to be actually sitting down and finding out the things you need to get out there with your own book And of course, on there, I'm going to be talking more than just books because we at aois21, we have gone beyond the book by really pushing aggressively into podcasts and video series to try to really, as we put it, we are storytellers and we want to help others tell their story the best way possible, no matter what medium they decide. So, all right. So let me do a quick check on Twitter, see if there are any questions there. If you have any questions, please be sure to ask them. All right. Oh, somehow I got kicked out of Twitter. Okay. See notifications. No. So yeah, you can tweet to us at aois21 if you have a question. If you're on Periscope, just ask it right on the screen. I'll do my best to read it out for the others watching and to answer it. If you're watching on YouTube there, we have a little screen right up. All right, latest. Okay. What book? Well, that is a question, but you have to be more specific. Okay, it's fine. Just whatever question you want to ask about books, podcasts, or video series, I will do my best to answer them. We usually try to be on here every month. Last month I was feeling ill. We had a pretty good one 2 months ago. Oh, okay. Yeah, we started this up after I went to a few events and found a lot of people that were writing. Okay. Well, you give me I primarily we started this up originally just helping authors that were interested in self-publishing or finding a publisher. I could give commentary on some books. I mean, I've read a couple thousand myself, but no, it's I'm mainly reaching out to authors here and trying to give them advice. And it started out with just advice on marketing, publishing, writing, but then as we got more aggressively into podcasts and videos, we expanded. So anything you want to ask, if it's anything you want to work on or anything that interests you, or if you want ideas of things to check out. I mean, I read close to 100 books every year. I listen to a couple dozen podcasts. I watch several different video series on YouTube. I am a mass consumer of media, so take in a good amount. Uh, Mr. Robot, I only watched the first season purely because I'm a cord cutter, so I don't have cable anymore. I really enjoyed the first season, and I need to get back to finish watching it. There's so many other great shows that I'm trying to keep up with right now. But yeah, I really enjoyed that first one. Rami Malek is fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing the Queen biopic that he's currently making as starring as Freddie Mercury. Uh, let's see. See no questions in on Facebook. No questions on Twitter. Yep. No questions on YouTube. Oh, we got a lot of people watching. Welcome. Good to see you all. I'm here to answer any questions you might have about books, podcasts, or video series. If you have an idea, you want to bounce it off of someone, I am a publisher. I have a lot of experience and dealt with answered a lot of questions and seen a lot of different ideas, and I can do my best to give you advice. And I've written 3 books myself, and I've published 17 now. I I host 2 podcasts, and you know, produced or executive produce 8 others. My first 2 books were both contemporary fiction. The first one is about called Post Soliloquy. It was about life after college. The question is, what's your book's about? Uh, it was about life after college, first jobs, first relationships after college, first apartments and everything. My second one is called Life's Penance, and it was about dealing with death, especially death at a young age. Then the third book I wrote is a sports memoir called 48 Game Misconduct. I'm a huge hockey fan, and when they had lost half of a season to a lockout a couple years back, I decided to blog through the half a season where they did come back and would just express my outrage, but my love for the game. And when that was all over with, I took all of those blog entries and went back and wrote some additional information with them and turned it into a book that's for free now on everywhere you get ebooks. So that's on Amazon, uh, on iBooks, all that. The question is how to get your ideas for books. Really, it's all I need. Everyone tends to have a story or has something in them that they'd be like, huh, I'd love to see, or I'd love to read, or I'd love to hear. And if you like have an idea and you say nobody has written, I want somebody to write a book about this, or I want somebody to make a podcast about this or make a video about this, you might be that person. If it doesn't already exist and you have the idea of it's something that you want to see in the world, then you have that drive. You are the one that could do it. Like I was coming out of college, I had the idea for writing this expansive historical fiction book, but would require a huge amount of research. And I was just burning to start writing. So I started writing Post Soliloquy in the immediate couple weeks after I graduated college. It took me about 5 years to finish it. It was my first book, so that happens. Then while I was writing it, there was one chapter where I had an idea and I could have ended the idea one of 2 ways. I decided to go with the way that kind of fit the narrative of the book I was trying to tell there. But then I had the idea of what would happen if I had gone the other way. And so that became the genesis of my second book, Life's Penance. And then, of course, there were other things that were happening. There were a couple short stories I started working on that are now books that I'm currently are gestating. There was a book that I started writing, and I got about 3.5 chapters written that I had to shelve after it was a book about a political campaign, and it became true. So I had put it away because I got burned out on politics after the 2012 election. And when I kept going back and tinkering it with here and there, and then it became true. And so now I'm trying to turn it into something different. So it's all just seeing. I mean, I'm a natural storyteller. I can talk, obviously. I can ramble on. So it was all just seeing a story I wanted to tell, and then doing my best to try to tell it. So at least that's where I get my ideas. Do you are watching series? What do you prefer? Are you talking about TV series, YouTube series, podcast series? You have to be a bit more specific. And I guess fill the silence right now. I mean, TV series right now. I'm watching This Is Us. I'm watching the Goldbergs and Bob's Burgers for comedy. Well, my kids love watching Bob's Burgers, so kind of watch that a lot. Uh, and there isn't much new television. Yeah, I like to read a lot when I was a kid. I actually wrote a play in first grade. You were into books already as a kid, I assume the person asked. Then what is your favorite? What is my favorite? Well, yeah, what is my favorite? What my favorite book? My favorite TV series? What? Yeah, I started writing short stories, and then I got into journalism in high school and did that up until the end of college. So my favorite series, The West Wing. My favorite television series. It's impeccably written. I love the characters. I love the acting. It was just incredibly well done. Uh, I'm a big fan of Aaron Sorkin, though he does get a bit preachy sometimes, and Newsroom was a bit tough to get through. But I have to say, my favorite series of all time is The West Wing, and a second after that would be Star Trek. Basically, Star Trek in all its incarnations. I've watched every single minute of Star Trek at least once. Yeah, Discovery I've only watched once through so far. Everything else I've watched at least twice through. Another person joined you. Welcome. Glad you approve. So typically I only do this talk for about 30 minutes. We're up about 29 now. But I mean, I'm happy to go on answering any more questions you might have. Oh, hello, Czech Republic. Glad to see you. Do I know Brazilian production? I don't really. I actually have a friend down in Brazil right now working in the U.S. Embassy. Uh, but no, not. I don't really know anything out of Brazil. Oh, and to our watch viewer from the Czech Republic, welcome. Have they gone through with the name change for your country yet? I remember hearing a couple years back that they were going to change the name of the country. I think it was to Czechia, and I haven't heard anything more about that, whether that was going through. It's like table uneven. Yeah. Sure. I just know there's a lot of people here in the United States that still say Czechoslovakia, even though that country hasn't existed for 25 years now. And of course, I'm from Pittsburgh, so originally, so I'm a big fan of Yarmur Yager. You haven't heard? Okay. I could have sworn I heard a couple years ago that the Parliament of the Czech Republic was looking to change their name. So, oh, you're from Germany. Okay. Yeah, I should look. Yeah, I guess I can always Google that if I want to know. All right, checking Twitter once again. Yes, I believe in aliens. I don't know if they visited us, but I believe that there's somebody else. There's got to be other species out there. Do you? Welcome. Do you know Taken? You mean the movie starring Liam Neeson, or the TV series? Because I've seen the first of the three Taken movies. Oh no, I haven't. I know about the TV series, but I haven't watched any of it. It's not the kind of show I tend to watch. Spielberg? What about Spielberg? I'm a fan of his work. I love the Indiana Jones series, and uh, E.T. was one of my early favorite movies when I was a kid. Came out the year I was born. Oh, that's okay. My wife is an archaeologist, trained to be an archaeologist, and she works as an office manager now. Taken was a movie, three movies starring the actor Liam Neeson. About he's an ex-spy whose daughter gets kidnapped, and he hunts them down. Uh, and at least that was the first one. The sequel, I think his ex-wife gets kidnapped in the second one, and I don't know who got kidnapped in the third. And now they've turned it into a TV series based on the same premise as the first movie. Okay, well, at this point, it is just after 9 o'clock. We usually do this for half an hour. We're currently at about 35 minutes on Periscope and slightly less than that on YouTube. Last chance. Any other questions you want to get in before I got to get going? As I said at the top of the show, we do this monthly, at least we try to. And if you want to go back and hear about what we talked about earlier in the video or anything else, it's posted on the aois21 YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/aois21 after the fact. It will remain up on our Periscope feed. You can go back and watch it. And it also posts to our webpage, video.aois21.com. That's aois21.com. I am Keith F. Shovlin, publisher of AS21 Media, an independent media company based out of Mount Vernon, Virginia. If you have any questions or any interest in producing a book or podcast or video series of your own, you can contact us at www.aois21.com. pub@aois21.com is our email. 571-206-8021 is our phone number. We're also on Twitter at aois21, facebook.com/aois21, and we're on Google Plus if any of you work for Google and are on Google Plus. I don't think anybody else really is anymore. We're also on LinkedIn and basically all the key social media feeds. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I hope I Oh, I thought we did. It should be in our profile. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your interest. And have a good one. And, keep writing, keep reading. You're welcome. All right. Have a good night. Thanks for the heart. Good night, YouTube.